Hey, welcome to Don't Panic PPC. I am Veronica, and with me, as always, are Thuha and Meriem, three PPC pros having conversations we wish someone had with us earlier. Whether you are deep in Google Ads or just trying to make sense of a chaotic account, this is your show. Grab a coffee and let's talk.
In today's episode, we're talking about something so many of you have been asking about: how to actually work as a freelancer. Whether you're just starting out or looking to land better clients, we've got you covered. Let's get into it. So, freelancing, where do we start? Shall we talk about where we get our clients? Because that's the most frequent question I get asked. Who wants to go first? Nobody.
Nobody wants to talk today.
I'll go first. So, I normally get all my clients and all my best clients from within my network. I've been very, very lucky. And this is what I tell everyone who's just starting out in PPC. I always say, make sure you connect with everyone and keep in touch with people, because you never know down the line, where you're going to be and if they're going to need you in the future or what have you. So I've been quite lucky. How about you guys?
I agree with you in terms of connections. So my career has mostly been agency side, but with every client I've worked with, I've ensured that, we always give the best service as possible, which I can give. So they kind of remember who you are. And I think off the back of that, remember all your clients. Well, back in the day, I'm going to go with that. Our clients used to move around a lot between companies. And that's how the agencies were getting different clients, because the marketing director at one moved to another. And then you kind of got that client as an agency. And that's one of the things I found was really good, because if you build a good rapport during your early stages of your career, when you're on your client meetings, you don't bullshit them, you're just good at your job and you're nice, then ultimately if you do decide to do this step, or even if you decide to go client side or something, you just don't know where these people will go, and they could end up being your boss in 10 years. And that's what's happened to me. So throughout my career so far, I've reworked with people I worked with 6, 7, 8 years before I became a freelancer. So it's been quite fun.
I would like to add to that, because when I started freelancing, I just came from my last job. My previous jobs really were in-house. And I didn't have that strong network. And I did find, and I don't know if we all agree, but I do find that coming from agency side instead of in-house can really increase your network and make things much easier. Like in-house, the majority of, basically I was working almost on my own or with two juniors, and my knowledge of people within the industry was much smaller than when I then joined freelancer, or then I realized I needed to join a community of agencies or PPCers that could expand my network. So I don't know if one recommendation will be, maybe if you are thinking of freelancing as I was in-house, maybe a good step would be, a middle step is to join an agency. If you feel like your network is not big enough, to join an agency and start building those connections, going to these conferences, meeting different clients, meeting different account managers. But then, as you said, they move around, and in the future they will need people. But I do find, if you come from brand or in-house, I do find it can be quite tricky. So
I don't think it matters, because I started off at agency and then I went in-house. I was in-house for a lot of years, but I guess the company I was in was very big, so I made lots of connections there. And coming out, all my connections have moved out of that business and into other businesses, and then pulled me in wherever they are. So I don't necessarily think, but I think you touched on a very good point, in that if you don't have a network, how do you grow that network? one way is a community, which, by the way, is the Don't Panic community. So we could you could meet people there, and that's one way of getting work.
I think what you said was interesting because, like, there's a lot of people recently who've been trying to go straight into PPC from like university, and you see quite a few of them be like, "How do you get your clients?" And that's when you start explaining, well, what experience do you have? Where have you been? They're like, "Oh, I'm still learning, but I want a client so that I can learn how to do stuff." And my advice would be go and work in an agency first. But I do think that when I was in agency side, you learned a lot compared to client side. So I've done both now, but I've always classified client side as retirement because agent I know, right? Sorry to everybody, but I've always said client side is retirement because agency side, you are literally working in a sweatshop. You will be pulled left, right, and center. You will be given too many accounts for the hours that you actually work, and you're spending other people's money, and you're trying to prove your worth because you want your promotions, you want this, you want that. So you need to do everything to kind of you know progress.
The learning
So
curve's definitely there, isn't it? At agency side.
yeah, whereas when you go
And
client side, you
yeah.
Yeah.
don't have that.
No,
Ah,
I mean,
so I would, yeah. Oh, go on, Veronica. I'll bring my point
no,
in a
I
minute.
think yes, I do. On one hand, I can agree with Miriam about um. So in terms of paid media, you just have one client, so it's limited to what you do with that client. On the other hand, I did love the learning comes from other areas. Um, and I did love what that added to my experience and how then from there my view from paid media I find it much more holistic. Saying that, I do think that as a path, if you start by an agency, you learn a lot of different tactics and you have applied to different clients, and then if you it's easier to move from there to then in-house. And then from there, when you just have all of that knowledge, you can start learning different knowledge, like more business knowledge rather than just paid media knowledge, and add it to all of the specific specialist paid media knowledge that you have. So from my personal experience and preference, I would suggest if you are starting, as Miriam said, go to an agency and get as many clients as you can, ideally kind of as different as possible so you can learn, low budgets, big budgets, lead gen, e-com, and you can learn as much as possible. And then from there, think of your next steps, um, depending on what you feel that you like most of paid media. Um, but I do think that the learnings are just different. It is a
Yeah,
different
it is
experience.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my experience from being in-house, so I was in-house most of my 30s, as it were. I would say when you're starting in PPC, going in-house, I think it's really important to have someone who's really good at teaching you, or if you're managing an agency, if the agency's helping you, it's how well that agency is going to bring you up and upskill you. But my in-house experience is I don't know whether I was lucky with the company that I was in. That I was managing lots of different brands, and they all had their different nuances and what have you. So I still got that variety, and what I loved about being in-house was I actually got to access data that I kept asking for when I was agency side and I couldn't get. I was also very much involved in digital transformation projects. There was a variety of projects going on, and it just gave me like that exposure and the opportunity to be involved in something from the start, whereas at agency side you're always talking about this, like something, this concept or what have you, or trying to get your clients to do it, but you can't, it's not part of your scope, so you're not part of that conversation. So that's what I did like about being in-house.
You know what's funny? You both spoke about being client side. You didn't talk about doing the PPC. You talk about the bigger project
Mm.
and the other things, which is what you would do once you've matured in PPC. So once you know the basics and go through the account, you know how to set up campaigns, you know how to optimize. That's when you step up to those more bigger projects and you want more of that. But that's why you move away from agency and go into client side, because that is where you learn all of that. Like, dealing with board members and trying to explain what PPC is. If you don't know PPC or you don't fully understand it, trying to step into that role and
Yeah.
like going straight to client side, you don't have that concept. But also agency side back in the day gives you flexibility to learn multiple different industries. So, for example, I used to manage e-com, B2B, lead gen account. God, and a holiday account as well. Like the accounts I've worked across is huge. Whereas when you go to client side, it's an e-com brand or it's a B2B business or it's a credit card company. So you don't get to find your rhythm and know whether that's for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, how about just a devil's advocate? What if you come out of university and you want to freelance but go into the world of PPC? Do you think there are opportunities to, I want to say, white label for an agency as a freelancer? But I was at a conference and I met someone and they didn't know what white labeling meant. So, but do you think there's any opportunities for people like that? Because most of the jobs I've had where they needed someone to whitelist for them, they need someone who can get in and hit the ground running.
So I think that's the problem. Like when an agency wants someone to white label for them, is they want something to do the job, not to train them. So I think there may be opportunities there, especially if there is an agency that doesn't have a big budget and has smaller clients and is happy to just have someone in and let you go and maybe just teach you the basics. But in general, I think agencies that need that kind of freelancers need someone who are very autonomous and can just get the things done. Annoyingly, I think that would be ideal because if you white label, you are learning while you can start also building your network and start looking for clients. I personally think there are not many opportunities to white label when your experience is known. I don't know about you, Meriem.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have
I
seen.
agree.
Yeah.
You can't white label as a brand new as a noob. And if you've never heard the terminology of noob means a beginner or somebody right at the start of their journey. Or noob from Mortal Kombat, who is one of the worst players ever if you can't play him. And that is why we classify ourselves as gamer noobs. Another reason why I'm called Don't Panic. But moving on from that, when you are beginning, the whole point of white labeling is they don't hold your hands. They say, I need this help, fix this account. Like my client's kicking off, write me commentary, I need it by 12. Like that's a lot of the white labeling, which I've done a lot of in the last couple of months, and in the most of my freelancing career. But as a business, so I run 4M Digital, and one of the things, because I used to be head of PPC before I ran my business, I absolutely freaking love training people. I love it. And like, when you used to have team members and you used to see them grow and like, then you see them in these jobs it's like now and they're like really high up and you're like, you're awesome. Well done, you. I love that. And I did flip flop last year thinking about, well, what if I hired, like, didn't hire a junior, but they were freelance, but I'll give them a laptop and, I'll train them up and get them to love PPC like I do. But the problem with that is that you have to invest a lot of time in that as well. So investing and you're paying them to train them to then do the work where they'll probably then move on anyway because they've got what they wanted from you. And that's so for agencies like me who are tiny, that's one of the biggest problems is because I'd love to train somebody, get them but it's just the fact that they move on and then you're like,
I mean,
oh,
because that reminds me. So in one of the in-house job I had, I was basically hired to bring the paid media in-house. So I was a solo runner. I joined as a solo runner, and I was bringing everything in-house. And at some point, it was, I needed help. But it was help to just execute stuff. Like it wasn't that big. It wasn't big enough to do much more. It was just I needed extra help, like 20 hours a week, to do some more specific, like executional things. Um, um, and obviously, paying for that basic work, paying for an agency or experienced freelancer didn't make sense. So we look for a junior, and it was exactly. And I do think that the good thing of in-house is that you don't have the weight of billing hours, like in an agency every hour count. While in-house is not that you don't have that much of a pressure, so you have more room to train people. So we didn't hire a freelancer by then, but we hired a part-timer. And I had room to train because I didn't have that pressure of I have to bill this client. So I was able to train that person, and that person was able to do the very basic jobs of, the basic ones, uploading something to the Google Ads editor or switch on and off, so things like that, the very basic ones. So maybe actually in-house as a very, very first step of just getting just seeing a Google Ads account really and doing a few things could be an option as a freelancer to go for a company who is looking for that extra basic help, but also have the time to give you some training. Don't know. I thought.
So we've talked about using our network to get work and white labeling, but we touched on white labeling for agencies. Any other sources of work freelancers could use to get work?
There's loads of opportunities to get work. It's just about being in the right place at the right time and wanting to be. We kind of touched on networks, but communities as well. And not just in your community. So if you're specifically in PPC, don't just look in PPC communities. Join digital marketing ones, join SEO ones, join CRO ones, join email marketing, because these people have clients. And it's basically a no-brainer that if they have clients, there's a potential that they might need somebody. And just offering support if they have a question because they're trying to do something themselves. If you helped that person answer their question, the next client they get who wants PPC, you might be recommended. So it's about being supportive with the communities who aren't maybe directly in there. And also PPC people, like, we're not competition to each other. Like, okay, we might pitch against each other one time or another, but if Veronica wins a client and I don't get the same client, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, freaking hate Veronica. I'm going to be like, awesome, you fit the bill. Maybe I wasn't right in the first place, but I tried and that's cool. And we move on from that.
But I've actually never competed with anyone that
How
I
do you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's a weird
I don't
question.
know. I think people would tell me.
You don't know.
I have a
Yeah,
feeling that I have competed with at least one of you once.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
wonder what it was. Okay, maybe
that's for another
offline you can
time.
tell us. Yeah.
But there are other places to get work, the community connections. You've also, like, a lot of people talk about Upwork and freelancer.com and how awful they are because people are paying pennies for work, but they actually have filters on there and you can filter for stuff. And I don't know, have you guys ever used Upwork or freelancer.com or one of those websites?
No, I've registered for Juno, but I must admit, I never had any availability every time I got alerts or anything like that. I did use dot com one. Is it called dot com? The Dot. Have you heard of the Dot? I had some work from there. It's basically like a LinkedIn kind of community, but then the difference is that when you put your profile on the Dot, you also list people that you've worked with. And so when companies look at the profiles to find suitable people, they quite often hire the team, as it were. So they might like that person and they'll bring on the other people with them. So that's why it's a bit different. So it's probably more targeted for like those dev type teams. But there's some marketing jobs on there as well. And agencies and in-house, I got an in-house role once from the Dot. They could post vacancies on there as well. But yeah, so there's lots of things. There's lots out there that we probably don't even know about. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, what about the Crowd network?
I'm a crowdie.
Yeah, I'm a Crowdy.
I am as well, but I have never really utilized it. So I received I received the emails and all of that, but I have never really utilized it. Have you guys? Have you people? Sorry.
I'm an active crowdie. I'm literally
Oh,
an
cool.
active crowdie right now.
Oh,
Okay,
nice. I
that's nice.
yeah, that is good. I normally get offered stuff where if it's someone I know on the team, and they'll pull me in. And that's and that oh, yeah, unfortunately, it's like it's who you know, isn't it? Going back
No,
to the networking thing.
I don't know
No?
anybody
So
at Crowd.
I have to say, like,
I do now.
because my experience is more on the other side, like being in house and hiring. And when it has been for freelancing, I had never gone to any of those places. It has always been network, going to people I know, um, going to LinkedIn and try to remember. Oh, do I remember this? Like, using my filters there. Like, which are my first connections that do PPC that I remember?
Mm.
And I think it's basically because especially with freelancing, um, you don't have you don't really have a full term contract. What I mean is you like there is an extra level of need of reliability on that person that makes me feel that I need someone that I know or that someone knows that is going to deliver a good job. So while I have had to hire an employee, it has been, if I didn't know anyone, I may put a job advert. For freelancers, has been more like, oh, I remember this person from Brighton SEO, or I remember this person from Woman in Tech SEO that always replies about how to do Google Analytics. So as a hire, I have been more, my first steps has always been the network.
Mm.
So
It's like
basically
people
just
you know and
people,
trust.
network, go there,
Mm.
talk to people, make friends.
Have you had any leads from where people have searched or used like ChatGPT and then found you? So people said to me, I've searched for PPC specialists in travel. I end up having conversations with them. They're actually really good leads. I just
Interesting.
thank my SEO guy when he built my website a few years ago. Whatever he did, it's future proofed. Yeah, I get that a lot. And even last week, I had a lead, and it was from someone who used ChatGPT or found me.
I just used ChatGPT. I put in the first search I put in is PPC specialists in travel, which brought me up a load of agencies. And I was like, no, freelancer. And you are the first person to come up is
Am
you.
I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I've not even tried it myself.
Yeah.
Can you send
That's
me a
brilliant,
screenshot?
Thuha.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Well, I can't take credit. It was whatever my website guy did.
It's actually well, it's not just that though. It's specialisms. So, it depends what you choose to do for your freelancing career. And some
Mm,
people say that you should choose your vertical and stick with it, which is kind of what you've done. You've been
mm,
very, very focused in the travel industry. Your website is completely optimized towards that. So it's a no-brainer because how many
mm.
freelancers have a website which is bespokely stating that they do
Yeah, that's true.
travel freelance?
Yeah. Oh, and can I just quickly state before everybody worries, even though I niched in that way and I market myself in that way, I do get clients in other industries. So, so I think when I talk to people and I say, "Oh, you got a niche," they worry and they're like, "Oh, I can't choose something and I don't want to be pigeonholed and blah blah." But that's not the point. It's all about marketing and how you get visibility. You have to niche, but in reality, I get pulled into all sorts of things.
I'm the
Yeah,
opposite.
that's a good point.
I don't niche.
Oh, really?
I love e-com, shopping feeds, all of that. If you haven't noticed, I love shopping feeds. But realistically, when you look at my client portfolio right now, a lot of it's B2B and lead gen.
No way.
Well,
I thought
we're
you were
quite
doing
good at it.
shopping.
So
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Oh, well, there you go. You can't really say
Yeah.
anything about like on LinkedIn, what you see is not completely what you get.
Yeah, I talk about
And
shopping
talking
feed
about that,
optimization.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, you do. You speak at events and everything, and it's all about shopping needs.
I do that though, but a lot of the feed optimization stuff which I get and e-com stuff is for very big brands because obviously my prior experience before freelancing was working with big brands. And now I get, Meriem, can you audit and review the feed? Meriem, can you do this with the feed? Meriem, can you do this with the feed? So I get project based on that, but I
Mm,
don't. Clients that size won't use a freelancer to manage their stuff because of how much they're spending. They go agency side. I don't, I'd love to have, like, without blowing my own trumpet, when I've audited some of these clients who are spending this much, I could manage that account quite easily. Me and using my freelancer who I hire, Danny, we could smash that and do it way better than some of the agencies out there now. But, you know, brands like to go with these snazzy agencies who do all the spiel and have the sales team.
yeah, and quite likely they're hiring freelancers to do the job. That also
White
that
label
Right, exactly.
freelancers.
So that also brings a conversation that a lot of people have of how much do you use LinkedIn? How much do you post on LinkedIn? How much do you give for free? Like some people will create these templates and give them for free to get leads. Do you think that LinkedIn posting and that giving for free content in LinkedIn, not as in a community where you are saying knowledge, but just like a proper sales promotion bit on LinkedIn, has that helped you before or now or anytime?
I don't believe so. For me, I create loads of documents. So right now for the Don't Panic PPC community, we have quite a few shared documents, a few scripts and stuff like that. I'll share it within the community and I will share it if somebody in another community is asking questions about something and they're unsure. I like to share things with people, but I don't actively go onto LinkedIn and say the word, I'm fantastic, and pat me on the head, and I will send you this document for free. And if we hit 1,000, I'll even give you my first child sort of thing, because I don't agree with that. I think it's really spammy.
Hmm.
I
So you haven't used
oh, I had
the question
an
was
answer and I forgot. What was the question?
how much do you use LinkedIn? Do you use it as a proper like sales promotional channel, or is more a community, not community, but like like a social channel for you?
So for me, for LinkedIn, I find when I post, it reminds people that I'm still around and I do get contacted, and work might not particularly come from it. So it definitely opens up conversations. So that's what I like about posting on LinkedIn. Now, a few years ago, I was posting every single day, and it really helped because it built my impressions for my posts and what have you. And I thought actually, if I didn't post every day, I was going to just lose all that visibility. But luckily, it hasn't. Like when I post now, I still get good visibility on my posts. So what I'm trying to say is that people shouldn't worry about things like that. But I would definitely post on LinkedIn to let people know that you're around.
I think that's a very good point because yeah, so if you are building your network within the community, um, it is just very good to pause now and then, yeah, to be there. So when someone is looking for someone, it's like, oh yeah, remember Tuhan, instead of having to, yeah,
Mm.
instead of having to look for you or go for someone else that is there. But that's the difference between that and proper sales promotion post. It's more like be around. So if someone needs someone, they remember
Mm.
I'm there. Yeah. I guess it takes a lot of pressure from the LinkedIn. Like I feel a lot of people who are trying to find clients are very, very, very anxious with LinkedIn and posting and content strategies and things like that. And it may work for them. I don't know, but it must be quite pressure.
I'm a
Yeah.
strong believer that you should only post on LinkedIn if you have something to say, because if you really want to post on there regularly and get awareness of you, don't get AI to write shit and post it out every single day, because we sit there and we know it's AI and we'll look at it and be like, but if you're like, today I did this and this is what I learned sort of thing, or you're giving something to the community without putting all the like and share rubbish and actually putting value out, that's important. And don't feel like you have to create stuff every single day. It's about consistency, and that's the same with all social media. If you're going to be putting things out, be consistent. Don't put pressure on yourself to do it once a day. Do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Or for me, I do once a month and I'll do my newsletter. And then other than that, if there's something important I have to say, like an update with shopping feeds and nobody's really talking about it or something like that, then I'll do a post. But I don't want to waste your time.
Oh, it feels like you post all the time. So that kind of just goes to show that, yeah, it's just posting things that you think are relevant.
Mm.
I think I post quite a lot. I hope I don't post rubbish stuff.
I
Yeah,
do not
but is it
and
valuable to you? When you post it, do you feel like you're bringing value, or do you feel like you're just chatting?
No, I think I go through. Oh no, I try and think, is it going to be valuable to one person out there? I go
See?
with that mindset because I don't want to post rubbish.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like you, as long as you're thinking about, your aim of writing that content and not, oh my God, I got to post something today. That's the difference. And then you do bring value. The last time I posted was 3 weeks ago, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
really? Was it about your
yeah,
newsletter? That's the
yeah.
thing,
That
though.
was
You
3 weeks ago.
post about
I
And
your
then
think
prior to
newsletter.
that,
mine must have been like more than a month ago. I mean, I comment on people's posts that I find or insightful or or empowering, but posting is terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible.
let's go see the last time you posted. You posted
See,
1 month ago because somebody's incredible. Oh, it was about your mentorship.
yay, that was it, and that was more than 1 month. Seriously. Okay, don't take any of my advice because obviously I'm not good at it.
No, no,
I
no.
love your Friday posts because there was always something very reflective about them, Yeah, you should bring that back. I
Yeah, I
can't
did
remember
like
what it
that one.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that time of it. Yeah, I was doing that. I really like that. It was more about being grateful. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did like just to bring some humanity into LinkedIn.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And I
did
did like
that
the
on
one you did.
Instagram. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, carry
The
on.
one you did about celebrating friendship. I also like the ones that are empowering or enhancing other people. I do find that beautiful. Because it's a very good way to show you are there, but also cheering up and building, cheering up people, um, empowering them, and yeah, building a community. So I do find those kind of posts really nice.
Do you
But
know,
then yeah, I
I
can
just
link it into
scrolled through
us.
your LinkedIn, Veronica. I'm just scrolling through your LinkedIn posts right now. Do you know how many times this year you've reshared something I wrote? Or shared a blog post, which
Oh, the
I haven't
love.
even shared yet? I'm just going through
That's
and I'm
great.
like,
The love is there.
that's me. That's me. I'm gonna get emotional. I'm like, bloody hell. You just
Oh.
reshare everything of mine and it's so cute. And then I scrolled a bit further down and there's you two at the UK Search Awards.
Oh yeah. Having fun.
That is where like yeah, not very professional. It's just yeah, but no, it's actually professional. It's just he's echoing nice people in the industry.
Yeah.
I
I
love
think
that. I think it's
it's using
awesome.
the platform to lift others. Uh,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
like
That's what I like. Yeah.
I like using that. I remember one time I went through a phase where I think I did it for a month where I was using Instagram and posting stories every day. And I would just mention like 3 things that I was grateful for. And most of the time it was people within the network or the community. And so they'd get a mention. Then people remembered that. And then when I went to events or anything like that, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're the one who's really grateful about blah blah," blah," and they'll actually like pick out what I was grateful for because that's what they remembered, and I'll be like,
But that's nice.
"Oh," like it was so impactful that they remembered me.
That's nice because then you're building your brand, and and that's who you are. You are a very like yeah, that's your personality. So you're building your brand, having visibility, and being you know lifting people and building that community and giving visibility. So it's like a win-win scenario, really.
Mm.
But it's all
So
the peace and love,
have we just established that you're both bringing back your so Veronica, you bring back
gratefulness.
your Friday
Yeah,
LinkedIn posts, and Tua, you're going to bring back your appreciation posts. Is that what we've
yeah, I'm
just
gonna have
figured out?
to. Yeah, I'm
We
gonna
have
have
to,
to,
yeah.
aren't I? Yeah,
Oh, so cute.
It's so cute.
light bulb moments. Oh,
Just going
that's
to have a
what we
little
should
cry
keep
now.
doing. Right then. So shall we round off the episode here and then
And we
go
go for a
find some
cry
tissues?
and
Oh,
hug.
hello, cat. All right then. That's a wrap for today. Huge thanks to Miriam and Veronica. And as always, it's a joy doing this with you. If you found this episode helpful, please do hit subscribe so you never miss us. And if you have a spare 2 minutes, a review means the world and helps more people find the show. And if you miss us in between episodes, you can follow us individually on LinkedIn, find us on Instagram at Don't Panic PPC, or come hang out in the Don't Panic Discord community. All the links are below the episode. Until next time, don't panic!